Vigorous men with vigorous minds and healthy appetites. They used to have a saying, you can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy. Whatever he did, Henry Ford always kept a certain rustic simplicity, a rugged quality that nothing could alter or soften. Burroughs had always looked down his beard at the Model T, called it a noisy device that frightened the birds. But finally, even Burroughs overcame his prejudices. The man behind the legend. These are men whose ideas changed our way of life and made it better. Father and son. They walk side by side, reviewing the past, planning the future together. How quickly it all had happened. In less than 25 years. Henry Ford. He personified the American credo of individualism and freedom of enterprise. He will long be remembered. As the American road became better, the cars that drove along it began to change. They became larger and heavier, lower and longer. The highway had become an extension of the city street, and people began to demand boulevard comfort and luxury in their transportation. Balloon tires and shock absorbers took the roughness out of driving. Interiors were the Ritz. Some even had a crystal vase to hold a single elegant flower. Henry Ford saw the trend and began making the Lincoln, one of the finest and most luxurious cars in the world. Alongside of such grandeur, the old Model T began to look more and more like a country cousin. The times had changed, and the car that had changed them was no longer needed. Henry Ford decided to stop producing it. In May 1927, the 15 millionth Model T came out of the plant. And the assembly line closed down forever on the world's most famous car. From then on, the old flivver began to disappear from the roads. As old cars were turned in, they were taken back to the plant. There they were scrapped. Their steel was salvaged for use in the new models. Once in a while, a car would balk at the mouth of the furnace as though in a last effort to save itself. The Model T died hard. Although the Model T began to fade from the American scene, the impetus and the new direction it gave to our way of life did not stop there. It gathered momentum that carried us through the gay 20s. Even the grim depression of the 30s could not stop the powerful forces that had been set in motion. Lessons learned from the assembly line and mass production helped us to win a long and terrible war. nothing has been able to stop us. We have kept on working, kept on building. And today, this is how the American road looks. The whole nation has become swift and mobile, flowing along over a great network of highways more than 3 million miles long and constantly growing. The American road has lifted itself high above the muddy ruts of 50 years ago. The road has bridged the gulf between city and country. Their ways of life have mingled, and both share the fruits of progress equally. Machines have taken the burden of work from the back of the farmer. No longer do the women on the farms grow old before their time. And the people of the cities have been able to move out into quiet communities full of sun and fresh air that seem almost like living in the country. The old country schoolhouse has vanished, and the energy of the children is no longer wasted in walking miles to get there. The worker of today no longer has to live close to the plant that employs him. His home is in pleasant surroundings, and he drives to work. Every car on the American road, every new building that towers against the sky is a sign of our progress towards a better way of life. But perhaps the most wonderful thing about the American road is the freedom it gives us. You've only to get in your car and start driving to feel it. The American road. What magnificent vistas open up before us as we travel along it. We have come a long way since the quadricycle and the Model T. In 50 short years, our whole way of life has changed. We have accomplished much, but the achievements to come will dwarf our own. The American road stretches ahead of us, always towards a new horizon. We are all traveling along that road, all moving forward towards an even better tomorrow.